then I'm a morning person. It just, my focus, why I am doing this, completely changed. And that's what I'm focusing on. So when I'm getting up in the morning, I have my, you're really brave at, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, you set your alarm for like 6 o'clock or whatever, right? And then that time comes the next morning and the phone rings, and I'm like, guess what pops into my head? My kids. That's what gets my foot out of the bed. And that whole belief just it's now, it's gone. So see how that sometimes it's like for instance, you, something shifted, right? When you guys were doing that exercise, when I was talking to you or whatever. It's like now the focus changes. And when that changes, a lot of times when it shifts, when you reframe it, that's what we're going to be doing a lot of times over the next 2 days. It's like you start taking action.
Let me give you another example. And this is kind of another health example, but I think a lot of us can relate to health and see how it can apply to other things, so I like using it as an analogy. So I was coaching a girl, she was a nurse, and she was single, and she had what she describes as being an addiction to chocolate. And of course, the way nurse break rooms are is there's always snacks, always candy, always food, always kind of like, just like this endless supply of junk food. And she said she would go into work every night, she worked night shifts, and she would go in and just pig out on chocolate. And she would work, she basically was also, I would tell her this as well, she was kind of an exercise addict as well. So every morning after that, she would spend hours in the gym working it off out of guilt. Not because she wanted to, but out of guilt. And so one of the things that was really missing in her life was a relationship. And she was really trying to overcome this addiction to chocolate. So as a coach, I'm trying to think of okay, how can I find leverage with her? And so I knew she wanted to be in a relationship, and I said, hey, that's awesome. She's an attractive woman, she has all these things going for her, and yet she was still single. And I said, okay, so what kind of guy are you looking for? And she gives me all these criteria, and it's a fairly substantial list, and she left a couple things off for me though. And I said, okay, so this guy's into fitness, and she's like, yeah, definitely. He eats right, yeah, okay, great. Is he disciplined? She's like, oh yeah, to a T. And she said, so he eats well, and he doesn't binge eat on anything. And she's like, no. I'm like, so why would he be attracted to you? And she's like, of course, I was being the mean coach here, but sometimes you have to, right? And she's like, you're right. I have to be the woman that he'd be attracted to. I said, yeah, you're right. I said, well, what's more important to you, the chocolate or being alone the rest of your life? And she broke down and cried, and guess what? She stopped eating chocolate. And she is married now and has a fantastic relationship with a guy who's disciplined, who is everything she was looking for. She was in her own way, but what changed? She still loved chocolate, right? But her belief about what that represented in her life changed. And so that's what all we're trying to do here is help you guys find out what's most important to you and make sure you're not sabotaging yourself with these little things that are getting in your way. And so that's just another example of a belief change. And so we can go through, we've seen these all over the place. There are